Welcome.
Just um, so just a little bit about myself. I'm Xavier Cooper. I'm from Logan University. I'm in try eight right now,
Okay.
and I'm just planning on practicing pretty soon in Dallas, Texas.
All
So that's
right.
my plan. That's my plan. But so what we're gonna do is go over like various questions, just
Mm-hmm.
like focused questions today. And it's just
Mm-hmm.
gonna be just like five of them. That's gonna be pretty much it.
Okay.
So the first question was, it's like, I mean, what was your upbringing and background before you decided to be a chiropractor?
My upbringing. Well, I'm from Memphis, so I'm
Oh
born and
yeah.
raised here in Memphis, Tennessee, because this is where I practice at. But
Mm,
overall, I'm more of a second generation college kid. My mom went. My dad didn't go, but my mom went. My mom kind of installed in us that she was like, okay, you guys are going to college. So
yeah.
so pretty much it was like, okay, you're going to college and you ain't going. All right. But we didn't really much have a choice, really. But really, I'm kind of the black sheep in my family. I was kind of gravitating more towards the more sciencey stuff, meaning like I don't even know if you even probably watched. I was watching like Magic School Bus and stuff and
Oh
everything
yeah,
like that when
yeah.
I was a
Yeah,
kid.
same.
So yeah, so I was more towards like Miss Frizzle, watching Bill Nye the Science Guy, stuff like that all the time. So that was pretty much my upbringing, and it was like more. I was more towards the medical realm anyway. Everybody
Mm,
else in my family was kind of like more of a hands-on with stuff and everything like that. Which I was a hands-on guy, but it was just more of a I wanted to watch ER and everything like that. And my mom was like, "You are the most weirdest child I've ever seen." But that's what I wanted. That's all I
hey,
wanted to watch. So eventually, my grandma kind of saw it first. She was like, "Okay, he gonna be a doctor." She's like, "So I'm gonna call him a doctor for now." And then my mom was like, "I don't know what he gonna do, but he ended up coming true." I see. So that's the
that,
thing. So usually when you usually know your kind of niche when you're growing up and everything like that. It's just
yeah,
either you gonna either kind of go into it or you're not gonna go into it. And a lot of times folks' families don't really kind of indulge in it. But I was blessed to actually have my family wanted to actually indulge in what I wanted to do at that time. So it was a blessing.
that is a blessing. Hey, you here now?
Yeah. So
That's a blessing.
you're right.
So, so a little more in detail. Why did you decide to become a chiropractor?
I be I actually
When did you decide it? Sorry.
when did I decide? When I was working for a physical therapist, and I really thought I wanted to go into physical therapy because I had physical therapy done for me when I ran track, broke both my ankles and everything growing up and everything. I had full physical therapy, learning how to rewalk, rerun, and everything. And I just thought it was something cool. So actually really got on behind. I was on the one side and then I tried the other side and got behind
Yeah,
it. And I was like, nah, this ain't my thing. It's not my thing. It's like I kind of felt like I was babysitting older people.
yeah,
And it wasn't the rush that I thought I was gonna have. So then when I actually started like actually doing my job that I was doing at the time, I think I did it for about maybe a year or so before I made my decision. And I told my boss, I was like, dude, I don't want to do this anymore. And he said, but you're great at it. I said, I know I'm good at doing exercise, watching people doing, make sure they're doing it efficiently and everything. But it just didn't give me that
it wasn't
wow
your
moment.
calling. It wasn't
Yeah,
your
yeah.
calling. Yeah.
It wasn't. It just didn't give it to me. So the crazy part is one of my actual friends that was stayed 2 rooms from me in an apartment complex was actually interning with a chiropractor at the time. And she was like, "Yeah, you may want to try that." I said, "What the heck is a chiropractor?" First of all, I ain't even know
Hey,
what the heck it was. So cause my thing is where I was brought up at, it was either a dentist, a MD, or I learned about physical therapy. I had to go through it, or an eye doctor. Those are the only doctors I knew about. I didn't know anything about chiropractic. Period. So when she said something about it, I did my research on it, looked at it. I was like, okay, but then I went to go visit one. When I went to go visit the guy, blew my mind. Saw
Yep.
everything. Saw he was popping things left and right, and I was just like, I was like, oh, oh, he was just
Hey,
popping the necks and popping the people's ankles and wrists and everything. I was like, does that hurt? He said, no, come here, I'll do it to you. Right. I was like, no, 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 no. He did it. I was like, why does it feel like
hey,
every little sense I had just opened up? And then after that, I was like, I'm hooked.
you're a living testimony.
Yeah,
Living testimony for sure. So the next question, hate to come like fast with these questions. I'm just
I
trying
know
to
you
break them
cool.
down a little bit. So, how was your child? How was your student experiences when you was in school? And what did you focus on, and what did you like put your most effort in? As I just gonna keep right there,
Okay.
that one right there, and then
So,
it's a second question to that. So,
right. So I was actually at Life University. So I went to
mm,
Life University for my chiropractic education. Um, Down there in now we're on the outskirts of Atlanta, but you might as well say you in Atlanta. So it's it's busy. So I mean, my time in chiropractic school, I'm not gonna lie, it was tough. It was tough. It was.
I
I
agree.
think I had some nights I was crying. I had some nights I was like, did I make the right decision? I had some nights I was like, dude, just go do something else. like like no, like honest and truthful, and I'm glad I'm on here with you guys to tell you that because a lot of times people don't realize it's like at the beginning you have that flame,
Yep.
you have that bright flame to go in, do it, and everything like that. And you're just like, okay, I want to get it, I want to be this doctor. You feel like all the inspiration in the world is coming to you. But as soon as you get to about like those hardcore, like I was in a quarter system, you're in a trimester,
Hmm.
but still it's something about that middle half. That middle half right there, that's when you're lost. And you
Yep.
need to and you're like pulling left and right for all the inspiration. So my inspiration for me was basically coming from I had to make sure I was watching the right stuff. I was eating the right stuff. I was listening to the right people. I was because a lot of times when you just kind of rolling with it, you just going with
Yep.
the motion. After a while, you ain't got your passion no more, and you just kind of just doing it just to do it. And there's no
Yep.
point of you actually doing it anymore because it's like okay, you need to you you need to disconnect to reconnect. Because
Yep.
if you want, because once you reconnect with it, because once you reconnect, you find that passion of what you wanted to do it for. So my thing was I went and found a mentor. I went and found the right podcast to listen to or inspirational music or something like you need something to
Yep.
drive you for that. And that's what I was trying to do the whole entire time I was there. Financially wise,
That's
whoo, man,
tough.
it was
Man.
tough. It was tough. It was tough down there. Because I couldn't technically get a job. Because if I would have got a job down there, I would have failed everything down there. Not saying I didn't fail. I did fail some classes. Now I'm gonna be
Hmm.
realistic. I was not a perfect student. I had plenty of friends that was down there that flunked out probably within the first year, and people that made it probably like maybe 2 years into the program and flunked out.
Hmm.
But me, I just kept going like, okay, do I feel like I'm able to pass this class at this particular time? You have to be realistic with a lot of times. With if you're like, okay, taking 18 hours here or taking 24 hours over here, or do I just need to go down to about like the bare minimum? Let's just do 12,
Hmm.
13 this time and then be good with it. You have to go off of what you feel like you're good at that particular time because the thing is, the chiropractic program is going to always go through, always. But
Always.
life happens at the same time. And in my situation, I lost my grandfather, I
Mm.
lost an uncle, I
Mm.
lost, I lost a lot of family members. So I had to deal with life.
Yeah,
So
it's
there was
life,
time,
man. That's
yeah.
tough.
So there's nothing I could do about a lot of that stuff. So you have to be able to deal with both. But when you're dealing with it, deal with it in the right realm. Don't go into the negative aspect. You have to go more into the positive aspect. Go like, okay, what would they have wanted me to do? Would they
Hmm.
have wanted me just to solve in this moment right here? Yeah, you can solve in your moment. You have to give everything their moment. But
Hmm.
once you give it that moment, go on. And I think that's probably like the hard thing with a lot of people when they do go into the program. They don't know how to differentiate the difference
Mhm.
because their program is not gonna stop for you. It's not.
It's
You
not.
you
It,
got to do what you got to do in order to get through it.
that's a
But
lot of golden nuggets you just dropped right there. I like it. Man.
yeah,
Whew.
so I mean, I'm just speaking from it
Man.
because I know for a fact how I was. I was lost. I think I was lost about 2 quarters straight, and then I finally was getting myself back into it. But I was like seeing it a little bit, and then I was being it a little bit. I wasn't making A's all the time, but I was like, okay, I made a C. We made it through. I was not doing the C for chiropractic. It was not purposely, but I did it. But after a while, I started realizing I was like, okay, what are the key things I need to focus on mainly? I need to focus on adjusting because a lot
Mhm.
of things that people don't realize, you need to know how to adjust. That's how you get paid. If you don't know how to adjust, how are you gonna get paid?
That is true.
So,
Cairo
so
is hands.
yeah, so I can know all the information in the world. I can know about sarcoidosis. I can know about rheumatoid arthritis. I can know about everything dealing with scoliosis. I can know about every little thing on the X-ray. But if I can't adjust, I'm not gonna make my money. So I put more of my focus onto my adjustment. So I was like going to Saturday open practices all the time. I was trying to go out in the field and see a couple chiropractors and watch them do it. Sometimes they would teach me, sometimes they wouldn't teach me a doggone thing. But the thing is that you got to put yourself out there because you got to be willing to go out there and learn it. If you're not willing to go out there and learn it, and you're just thinking like, oh, if I sit here and I watch this and just stay in the classroom, I'll be okay. You're not. I'm
Hmm.
just gonna be honest. You're not going. You're not going to.
That's
So
true. Much appreciated for letting that out.
yeah.
Man. So for the next question is, the second part to that question was, how did you transition into clinical practice after your after your undergrad, grad already.
After coming out of chiropractic
Yeah,
school,
yeah.
yeah.
Sorry, chiropractic school. Sorry.
It was a little weird. One, the weird part is being called a doctor. You
Hmm.
weren't called a doctor the whole entire time you were down there. They may have said it every now and then, and you probably had that little smile on your face. It's like, oh my God, they called me doctor. But when you actually come out, it's kind of a situation you're looking like, okay, they said Dr. Pete. I was looking like, oh, that's me,
That's
ain't it?
me.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's me. My bad. But yeah, one, that was the one awkward thing that it was right there. Two, it was I was used to tests. I was used to tests. I was used to quizzes. I was because usually you get tests and quizzes almost every freaking week.
Yes, sir.
So when you're going through the program, that's what you're used to. That's what your mind's like this. Okay, what I got to pass today? What I got to pass today? But then when it was over, I was just sitting there looking like, okay, I have all this information, but how do I make sure I don't vomit it out on people every single time they get on the table? So that was probably like the hardest thing because the thing is that you know so much, and I do mean you know a lot,
Yes,
and
you
you
do.
try not to put it on a person when they come in. You're sitting there going like, "Oh, you have a high right shoulder, and then your hip is lower right here. Oh, your gait is off right here because you're swinging your leg around right here, and you don't want to overwhelm them. A lot of times when people come in, and it took a minute for me to realize it because when you first started adjusting, coming out, you're very slow. You're not
Hmm.
fast. You're supposed like a lot of times. I think the most I took was probably like 10 minutes on my first patient, and I was sitting there looking like,
Okay.
yeah. But my bad. But I
I
took
think it
like 10.
froze.
It froze.
Yeah, it froze for a sec. I think it was on my end though.
Okay, okay. You good?
Yeah, we good.
Okay, so yeah, it was. I took 10 minutes on my first patient, and I was sitting there looking like, okay, but I had like four more people waiting. So me doing it right there, I was sitting there looking like, okay, maybe I need to stop kind of. I know I'm educating them, but you have to sit there and think in your mind, the customer. They're a customer and they
Mm-hmm.
want to make sure that you get rid of their pain. And once you get rid of their pain, you need to make sure that you're educating them to make them understand why they need to make sure they're coming back. I could get rid of somebody's pain and then they'll be like, okay, I'm good now. But then the reality is that their body is still going to go into that same transition of what they're doing because they're constantly going to keep going to work. They're constantly going to keep lifting things up. They're constantly going to be sitting at a desk like this all day, and it's something you have to make sure you're educating them every single time they come in at the table. So so that was kind of hard for me to kind of wrap my head around it at first
Mm-hmm.
because I was just trying to make sure, okay, get them out of pain, get them out of pain, get them out of pain. But I wasn't thinking like, okay, we gotta make sure we're educating them to the point that they got it. So
That's really good. Thank you. Thank you for that one. Cause I'm gonna need that for when I get out too. Just to
yeah,
remind myself that you just gotta make sure you educate them at the same time. Just provide the necessary care for them in pain. So thank you for that.
well,
The last question. Uh, why is it important for all chiropractors to support a group like SAPCA to promote equality in the profession?
well, okay. So the thing is that for representation of African Americans, honestly and truthfully, is very low. It
Mm,
is very low in chiropractic. I think we're only like 3%, but like we just became 3% of the actual profession. And the reality is that you you have to have examples. Me, I didn't have an example when I was coming up about chiropractic. Like I told you, I didn't know anything about chiropractic until it got to the point of the girl was 2 doors down from me. I would have never known anything about it unless she was interning. So if she would have never been interning and I would have never went to the guy, I would have never known anything about it. So the thing is like when it comes down to that right there, I feel like people need to realize and kind of sit there and think about it. Okay, how did you get the job that you got?
mm,
You had somebody that was an example for you. So you need to make sure that you have some type of example of that. So you need to make sure that you're supporting and feeding into that. So when it comes down to South and everything like that, that is pretty much that's what students need. Students need to have somebody to I'm not gonna say idolize or anything like that, but you need somebody to overall be an example for you so you'll be able to think like, okay, they were able to do it. Okay, he was able to do it, she was able to do it, so I should be
mm,
able to do it too. Because they went through the trials of okay, maybe it was a financial situation, maybe it was a life situation, maybe it was I lost a parent, I lost a husband, I lost a wife, or something like that, and they were still able to get to the goal of becoming a chiropractor. And that's things that you can get from coming from people like that's in like Sabka and everything like that.
that's
Because
really good. Dang. So I actually do got one more question. So what advice would you give to a student that is in between PT and chiropractic?
do your research and make sure that you shadow one.
Yes,
Because
sir.
the reality is that like I said on my end, I shadowed a PT and then I actually worked for one. After I worked for one, I started realizing this ain't something that I could do for 20, 30 some years. Because I felt the rush when I first got hired within the first 6 months, but then after those next 6 months, I was like, I was kind of like
Uh,
dreading it, and I was like, and I really thought it was my job. I really just started realizing it was more towards a job. I was looking towards it more for a paycheck. I didn't have the rush that I have. Like now, when I get paid, I'll be like, oh, I got paid this week. I didn't even realize I got paid this week because I was sitting there looking like, okay, I was just doing work.
yeah. Mm. That's when you froze.
I was just doing back up.
Yeah, I think it froze again. Man,
Okay.
sorry. It's like you were stuck for a second. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, appreciate it. I hope everybody else heard that. That's a lot of golden nuggets that you just passed on through this podcast right today. So is it any way we can reach you out like on social media?
Yeah, on
Um,
social media. Hold on, because I have a hard time trying to remember my thing. I need to actually change this thing because like everybody comes to me about it all the time, and they're like, "Dude, you have the longest freaking thing of all time," and I'm like, I probably need to change it because I've had it ever since I was in chiropractic school. So, it is Dr. Fred underscore the underscore chiropractor. I probably need to change it, but still.
much appreciated for your time. Thank
Yeah,
you. Also, thank you, Dr. Ben Glass, for setting this up. I
yeah,
think he's,
appreciate it.
I think he's listening. Hopefully, think so.
I do not sure. I just know he got a newborn, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I feel him right now because mine is on the way. I have my child in here in 3 months. So
Sorry for if it was like feel kind of rushed. I was just running around and I just had to hurry up and get back in time. So that's why I'm a
I
little
no no
scattered.
no.
But thank you for your time. I think we just gonna end this
Okay.
if we just
All
leave.
right.
I think.
All right. Well, you be safe out there. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right.